Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet, so if that interests you, please sit back and enjoy this video because today, my friends, I offer session number 31 of WIPn It with Juan. So my friends, if you're not familiar with what WIPn It with Juan is, it's literally a session where I sit here, I hang out with you, I crochet, I work on a make, and we just talk about all the things. I become your buddy for about 45 minutes to an hour. So if that interests you, sit back and enjoy. If you like what you see, consider subscribing if you haven't already subscribed. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get the camera situated and we will get this session started. Just 1 second. Okay friends, so I am back. The camera is angled. I have a fresh cup of coffee. I have my yarn and a notebook. So I am set. Hopefully you have your whip, your snack, your drink, doesn't matter. Enjoy the show, okay? So for today's session of WIPn It with Juan, I am actually going to be working on a beanie. Now this beanie is going to be called the Last Frontier Beanie. Now, yesterday was August the 13th, 2024, and I had Lala and I had Jan on the channel yesterday for an episode of Let's Chat Stitches. And so during those shows, I use my stitch wheel and we pick stitches and I write them down and I create projects with them. So I went ahead and wrote down all of the stitches and I asked both of them what their favorite colors were. And so Jan told me that her favorite color was like a cobalt blue. So this was the closest thing that I had to a cobalt blue. And then Lala said her favorite color was orange, but like the brighter the better. So I have a neon orange for her. And then for me, obviously it's a given purple. So I said to myself, okay, well, if I pull all of our favorite colors and create a beanie with it, how well do the colors complement each other? So side by side, I'm like, okay, I will tell you that the purple is the oddball out. And I had to confirm that by using my color wheel here. So if you look at this color wheel here and point the arrow to the arrow directly goes to blue. So orange is complementary to the blue. However, the orange doesn't necessarily point to the purple. You see that? So it's split complementary to the orange, but there's just no direct correlation between the three. However, I'm going to use the colors anyway because these three colors are our favorite colors, and I think if I use these correctly, they might work. So let's just see. This could be a complete disaster or it could be genius. Who knows? Anyway, for this project, I'm going to be using a 6mm crochet hook. I have my scissors because I am changing colors. I'm doing all the things while I talk to you guys about just whatever comes to my mind. I said this before, I do have the gift of gab. I will just run at the mouth a mile a minute with all the words. And so let's brace ourselves for impact. Now, I assigned stitches to these yarns. So what I did was I assigned one stitch to each color, corresponding to, our favorite color versus what we spun on the wheels. So for instance, I spun the wheel and Lala's stitch came up. So the front post double crochet, which is what she chose as one of her stitches, will be assigned the orange color. Now Jan had the half double crochet. So we're going to do half double crochet in cobalt blue. And for me, the bean stitch will be done in purple. Now, there were 3 other stitches, so what I did was I just assigned colors to the stitches. So each one of us has 2 stitches assigned to our color. So, Lala's is front post double crochet and the triad stitch. For me, it's the bean stitch and the double crochet. And then for Jan, we have the half double crochet and the knotted half double crochet. So, I laid out the pattern right here. And I think that if I follow this recipe, it may look really good. So, without further ado, I'm going to place this on a brief pause to just set myself up here and then we'll get started, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, friends. So, I had to grab the yarns and have them all set up for me, because there's a lot of color changing happening here. All right, so I've decided for the crown, I'm going to do a round of double and a round of half double, a round of double, a round of half double. So we're going to alternate that until we get to 60 stitches. So let me see here. I'll start with the double crochet. The double crochet is purple, and that is my color. 6mm hook. Anyway, how is everyone today? I hope you're good. Yeah, as of late, I have been very present on the YouTube streets, just involving myself in all the things, you know. I just love yarn that much, you know, and what I love even more than yarn are the folks who love yarn, you know. So if you love yarn, more than likely we're going to hit it off. It's going to be great. So let me see. I'm going to do 12 double crochets. That's 1, 2. Let me just do this really quick. I don't want to lose my count. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. 6, 7. Anyway, there's lots of things happening on the YouTube streets, friends. We have the Boggy Creek Brigade, the Boggy Creek Blanket Brigade happening. So everyone's making Boggy Creek blankets. We have creators creating tutorials for blankets, which is absolutely amazing. Tons of things happening. So I think we're going to hit our goal of 2,025 blankets by 2025. The start has been amazing. I know what we have in the books right now. I believe we're at 200 blankets, or maybe slightly over 200 blankets, but I have a bunch to show on the next show, and so does Nancy. So I'm super excited. I think we, you know, have a very strong start, and if we continue in this way, we will definitely hit our number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do one more. 12. Let me just do this situation. So we're changing colors. I chose to alternate, you know, to just keep it interesting. So now we're going to do the half double. We love a colorful beanie. At any rate, so the shirt that I'm wearing is in support of autism. I have a few members of my family who are autistic, and they're on the spectrum. It's almost a tongue twister. Are autistic. So at any rate, so I am all in. I do the walks. I, you know, support when and where I can, you know. So this t-shirt represents my support of autism, and I will tell you, some amazing folks out there who support autism, who are autistic, who are on the spectrum, and I do have viewers who reach out to me and say, you know, I really appreciate the fact that you support autism. Honestly, I feel like there aren't enough people supporting autism. It really isn't spoken about as much as I personally would like it spoken about, but, you know, bringing awareness is what it's all about. So a lot of people, you know, they're learning about it. You know, they're getting involved in the community, which is absolutely amazing, you know. So I have a nephew who is autistic, who is high functioning, and honestly, I think he's a genius. I think he's a musical maven, like he's a maestro. I think he's absolutely amazing with music, you know. So I have a cousin who is also autistic but not high functioning, and so she's nonverbal, but still amazing nonetheless, you know. I like that. It's all the things. Anyway, so like I said, I get these t-shirts. When I see them in stores, I go to events, I do all the things. And so I implore you to just look into, your community and see, where you can get involved if this interests you. Again, it's about awareness. So there is that. All right. So we're going back to the purple already. Lots of color changes, lots of color changes. Let's see. You know what? These colors would make a great Boggy Creek blanket. The blue, the purple, and this vibrant neon orange. Yes, it would make a great Boggy Creek blanket because this orange is like the kind of orange that would stop traffic. I mean, it is so bright, so vibrant, and so placing it in between two darker colors, it's great. I mean, look at this, right? That orange just pops. It does all the things. So anyway, there we go. Let me just do my chains, and now we're back to the double crochet. Okay, so one standalone and twins in a stitch. A very easy pattern to remember. One standalone and twins in a stitch. All right, so tonight I am hosting the Boggy Creek Blanket Brigade, and like I said, I have tons of things to show, and people have been sending me their blankets. So if you're watching me right now and you sent me a blanket, a huge thank you. I can't thank you enough for supporting the cause. Now I'm going to be taking these blankets, filling up a U-Haul truck, and driving it from Delaware to Florida with Jax. So Jax is going to fly over from the West Coast, and we are going to drive from Delaware to Florida together. So there's a hashtag going around, fill that truck, BC25. So feel free to use that, bring awareness to the Yarny community, and try to get as many people involved. If people ask, like, what is that? Just let them know, like, listen, they're making blankets and they're sending them down to Florida. The more people become involved, the more blankets Boggy Creek gets, and we will hit our goal, we will surpass it, and there's going to be tons of happy kids that have these amazing makes from us, which I think is great. So that's one, and then in the last stitch we do two. Okay. All right. I don't really practice when it comes to like working on a recipe, a project while recording myself. So this is a first. This is a first. So usually the make is done, and then when I do the tutorial, I'm comfortable with it because I've already done it. But yes, I did not do it. This is the first run through. So we're just experiencing the things together, friends, working out the kinks. So when I do the tutorial, we will fly through it. Now, when I do the tutorial, I will tell you, I'm very aware of the colors. So I will not use dark colors in my tutorials because I want to make sure everybody can see what I'm working on. And if you want to see a darker version, I usually have one already made. So what I'll usually do is work with like a cream or like a light color, something that's camera friendly. So yeah, this one here has one bright color and that's it. Oh, this is great. I love it. This blue is all the things with this purple. And that's the thing, like when I look at these colors, I know blue and purple, they're nice together. The orange and the blue, they're nice together. But when you put all three of these together, for some reason on the color wheel, it doesn't jive. Well, I say pish posh to that. If it looks good to me, that's all that matters, right? So let me see. I think I messed up. Let's see. 2 standalones, twins in a stitch. Yep. It's supposed to be 2 standalones and then twins in a stitch. Okay. 2 standalones. Okay. And then twins. Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that we're going with these 3 colors because it symbolizes the 3 of us, our favorite colors, stitches we chose, you know, so that is awesome. And then the pattern that I chose is very easy and simple, which is awesome because if I choose to make more than just this one, I can use this recipe and make a bunch for cancer caps, since I am collecting those as well. So for those of you guys who plan on sending me Boggy Creek blankets, if you have cancer caps that you don't have a place for, put those in the box with the blankets and I will make sure that my local cancer center receives them. No obligation, of course, but you have another place if you're looking for somewhere for your hats to go. I will definitely roll those over to the cancer center here in Delaware. So this is exciting. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, this is great. Look at this. Isn't that nice? It's very flat right now, but that's okay. We have to get to 60 stitches and we're well on our way. So 1 and 2 standalones and twins in a stitch. I need a sip of coffee. Are you guys drinking coffee? Are you tea folks? Are you iced coffee? What is your drink of choice? Me, it's coffee unless it's 100 degrees inside, then it's Diet Coke. And honestly, it should be water. I should drink more water, honestly. I don't drink enough. For as active as I am, I should be drinking a gallon of water a day. But I don't. I have to really fight myself to drink what I do drink, which is about a half gallon. Like, I do get water intake, but I am very, very active, you know, between what I do at work and the gym and around the house. I'm very active. I should be drinking more water, but I don't. And honestly, it's boring, and I know I can flavor it. I know I can do all of that, but it's just not fun. Water's not fun. Anyway, I think we are going to the purple. Guess what I just did? Did I just make a mistake? Yes, I did. I used the double crochet for Jan's stitch. It's supposed to be half double crochet. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Okay. Let me go ahead and pause us to save the data. I'll be right back. Okay. So I've ribbited all the things, and now I got to use Jan's stitch with Jan's yarn. So it is the half double, not the double crochet. So 2 standalones and twins in a stitch. Which honestly, the half double has a very nice flow to it. You know, once you get your hook going, it's like a machine. I love it. 2 standalones and twins in a stitch. 2 standalones and twins in a stitch. So, and what's nice is I wrote out the recipe before I started, so I know exactly what I want this to look like. Let's see if it turns out that way. I really hope it does. 2 standalones and twins in a stitch. Every now and then, it doesn't. It doesn't turn out the way it should. It's disappointing. There were times where I've created these big projects and I just had this idea that it was going to be this grandiose, beautiful thing. And then I get to the end, I stand back and I look at it and I'm like, Juan, what were you thinking? Why did you think that was going to work, Juan? No, Juan. You need to frog all that back. I can't talk apparently. But yes, I said, you know, just stick it out. Wait until it's done. It'll come together, Juan. It'll come together. Yeah, well, the end drew close. I finished the project. I stood back and I looked at that blanket and I said, Juan, you are frogging that. It was so ugly. I mean, my stitches were good, but just the way they fell. And this was, it was a paid pattern. And it was nothing against the actual pattern. It was, I guess, the yarn I chose. I chose the Big Twist anti-pilling yarn. And it was the one where it was orange, white, and purple. And it ran into each other, you know. It was kind of like the inclusivity yarn, but like the orange, the white, and the purple one. And so I did this blanket that had all of these front posts and the chain work and everything. And I said, you know what, just stick with the pattern, Juan. Ride it out, you know. Go to the end. See what this looks like. I get to the end. I hold it up, I look back, and I'm like, oh no. You cannot tell people you made this. You need to frog this. And yes, I frogged it. Actually, I think I showed it on the channel. It was this mandala blanket. And it was, I mean, listen, the stitch work was beautiful. The pattern was beautiful. Bad choice when it came to the yarn. Yeah. And I think it was from Biba Blanket. Yeah, so lesson learned, you know? Sometimes you just have to stick to what you know. I was reaching out. I was like, you know what? I've never tried this yarn before. Maybe this busy yarn will work with this busy pattern. And no. I should have known better. But lesson learned. I know going forward, really pay attention to yarn choice, because yarn choice is half the battle. You know? Alright, so last stitch, I'm going to put twins in the stitch, and then I'm going to do that and bring back the purple. So I think what I'm going to do, right, for this particular WIPn It with Juan, I'm going to let this run for 45 minutes to an hour, talking to you guys about all the things that come to my mind. And then if I don't finish the beanie in this particular episode, I'm going to pause us when I'm finished, right? And then I am going to finish the beanie off camera and bring myself back and show you guys the finished object. So this will be done today. I just don't want this to run longer than I have planned because, yeah. Who wants to sit here forever waiting for a beanie to be done? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. So 3 standalones and twins in a stitch. But first, chain 2. Okay. And now I get to use double crochet. I love using double crochets. I mean, I don't know what I mean. All I know is that it's got a nice rhythm to it. Once you get your hook comfortable in your hand and you just let muscle memory take over, it's a wrap. You just let your fingers fly. 3 standalones, 1, 2, 3, and twins in a stitch. Right, 3 standalones and twins in a stitch. Beautiful. So I think this is the last of the increases, and then from here, where are we going? We're going to go to Lala's color, which is amazing. We're going to do the triad stitch after I get out of this crown. So this is interesting. Normally I don't change colors in the crown, but changing the colors in the crown I think is part of the charm, you know? So not just with this project too, but like with other projects that you normally would keep the same colors, if you push yourself to new boundaries and say, you know, let me just change colors more often, what will that look like, you know? That's why I got so involved with scrap cakes and things, because 1, I don't want to waste yarn, but 2, I want to push my boundaries with my color palette and my color choices and all that. So sometimes you learn what colors work well with other colors by trying it out, you know. So sometimes we see, perfect mistakes. Things that, look like a mistake, but I'm glad that mistake happened because now I know what those colors look like together. So I'm glad for, happy accidents and fortunate mistakes and things. I always tell people, please make mistakes. You learn things from them if you allow yourself to. So for me, that's what that is. And I make these scrap cakes, I make scrap projects, and then I sit back and I look at the colors that came together next to, above, underneath, and I say, sometimes I say, I need to work a project up with these two colors together. And I wouldn't have known none the better if I hadn't done that project. So sometimes it's really good to just play with colors. And if it doesn't make sense, that's okay. Kind of like what I'm doing right now with this project. Because technically, having all three of these colors together shouldn't make sense. But we're making it make sense for us. And I'm okay with that. Let's see. Okay. Do I have 3 standalones? Yes, I do. Now twins in a stitch. So, pumpkin spice season is among us, friends. I just saw Dunkin' Donuts roll out their pumpkin spice. And so, my cup of coffee, pumpkin spice coffee, pumpkin spice creamer, sugar-free, of course. And I will tell you, it's not the same. It's just not the same as what I remember pumpkin spice tasting like. And I think it's because of the sugar-free aspect of it. I mean, I guess that just can't be helped. I don't know. But I do know that it is annoying remembering what pumpkin spice tastes like and not being able to actually have it. Oh well. Sometimes a substitute is fine. Okay, so here we are with the stitches. This is what it looks like so far. Look at that. It's perfect. So 60 stitches. I need a sip of this pumpkin spice goodiness. So good. All right, let me place you guys on a brief pause to save the data, and I shall return. Okay, so I am back. It was literally just 2 seconds ago. So I'm cutting that off. And I'm joining on Lala's color, which is the orange. So let me just slip that in there like that. Pull in this orange. It's so bright. I love it. And then I'm going to tie off the purple, which is great. Perfect. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so just confirming. Are we doing the triad? No, we are going to do, I wrote down triad at first. I crossed it out and I put front post to double crochet. See that? So I'm going to be doing front post doubles, which is nice because I'm not doing any increasing, so that's fine. All right, so these 2 stitches go together because that's a chain. So let me just chain 2. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to alternate. I'm going to keep this interesting. So I'm going to do a front post double in the first one, and then a double in the next one, and then a front post in the next one. We're going to alternate that stitch. Yeah, I like that for us. It's easy to miss a stitch. You just have to make sure that you follow your stitches. Don't miss any. Don't rush. It's very easy to rush through this and then be like, oh my goodness, I missed that stitch. Now I'm not at 60 stitches, I'm at 59 stitches. Yeah, this is great. I love how that purple runs together with that orange. That's so good. Okay, so I'm just going to continue doing this, and I will talk to you about this safety orange. Now, I will tell you that at my particular Michaels, we can't seem to stay in stock with this color. When I go, I can only grab like one skein at a time for some reason. It's frustrating. I know they can't help it. You know, the workers and all, they can't help it. They just put up what they get in. But it's frustrating as a customer because I like to buy in bulk. I guess I should just stick to online purchases. But I do like that human interaction, right? Like, I remember years ago, we would be able to go into the store and have conversations with the workers in the store, and it be just part of our day. You know, it was very common to have conversations with the workers in the places we made purchases from. Nowadays, it's not the case. You know, they're so focused on, you know, their online ordering, and they have order pickers, and it's really sad. But I mean, I guess it's just a sign of our times. I don't know, but I do miss that human interaction. It's a different time, unfortunately. But at any rate, if the employees were able to actually stop and talk to us, maybe we as customers would have a better understanding as to why they can't keep this orange in stock, among other colors. So there's another color. It's a highlighter yellow. I believe they call it safety yellow. It's so bright and beautiful. It's all the things. They can never seem to stay in stock with that. And again, it's not their fault, but I kind of need those yarns, you know, for Boggy Creek. And yeah, I just like instant gratification. That's another thing. Like, I don't want to wait for my order if I know that I can go to the store, which is a few minutes away, and get it. Now, one of the greatest things about living in Delaware is the proximity to the stores. So I know you can look at a map and see just how small Delaware is, but I can literally go from New Jersey, cross over Delaware, and go into Maryland and be in Maryland in less than a half hour. Like, I can cross the bridge from Jersey to Delaware and then drive through Delaware and be in Maryland in 15 minutes. You know, so the proximity to the stores is just like that. So in Delaware alone, I have, let's see, I have a Michaels up north, I have a Michaels down south on the other side of me. So there's two Michaels in Delaware close to me. And then there's one in New Jersey close to me. And that's it for Michaels. Joann's, there is one in Jersey near me, there's one in Pennsylvania near me, and there's one in Delaware here. So, I mean, right off the top, that's how many stores? And let's not even talk about Walmarts. So, there's there's 3 Walmarts right here in Delaware near me, and there's 2 in New Jersey near me, and there's 1 in Pennsylvania near me, and there's 1 in Maryland near me. That's a lot of Walmarts. So I prefer to shop in Delaware because it's tax-free. Sales tax, there's no sales tax here in Delaware. But I don't mind going out of state if they have what I'm looking for. I kind of like that texture. Look at that. I like that. Isn't that an awesome texture? Design element? But that's on the inside. I still like it nonetheless. And that's what the outside looks like. Lots of texture. Love that for us. So after this, where are we going? We are going to the half double crochet. We're going to hop over to the blue. So let me link over to the first stitch of the round. And the blue through. Love this. Okay, pull that through, pull that through. Scissors. This is a lot of ends to sew in. If you know me and my journey, my friends, the ends are not my best friends. I don't care for the ends. I have a special person that I send my ends to, and she sews them all in. I love it. So, yeah, I just can't send her every single project because, you know, she does her own things with the yarn too. So, I have to be considerate. All right, half double crochet. So chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. Go into the stitch, half double. We're going to do a half double to every stitch in the round. This should start bringing it in and not making it look so flat. We shall see. Anyway, I've done several projects and left the ends just to sit as they were. And I have plenty of darning needles, so there's no excuse. I have lots of needles because at one time I used that as an excuse. So I went ahead and I got all these needles, and I said to myself, if I have all of these darning needles near me, it will force me to stop what I'm doing and start sewing in those ends. And no, that didn't work, friends. That did not work. All right, let me pause this to save the data and I'll be right back. Okay. It's a discipline thing, friends. I just have to discipline myself and get myself to actually stop what I'm doing and just sew in the ends. There's no excuse, honestly. I should be better at it. And I'll work on it, you know? But as long as I have someone who's willing to sew in my ends, why not, you know? Okay, Juan, you have to stop that. I will. You know? I've had viewers of the channel send me darning needles, literally in Happy Mail, just an envelope with darning needles in it. And I'm like, but I have darning needles. I just have so many things on the hook that I just don't have the time to sew everything in. I'd rather just put something else on the hook and get that done, you know? What I need to do is stop, drop, and get all of my WIPs completed. Now, back in June, I talked about that. I was like, okay, we're going to get all of these WIPs done by the end of the month, and I was so gung-ho about it. Friends, I was determined to get all the things done. Well, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So the end of June came, and I still sat here with a bunch of WIPs, and I was feeling so sorry for myself because I worked very hard at trying to get my WIPs done, and yeah, I had to tell myself, Juan, calm down. You know, you didn't get it done, that's okay. And I also had lots of friends of the channel reach out to me and say, don't beat yourself up. You did what you could. You did the best you could. So just continue pushing forward, chin up, keep going. And I said, you know what, you're right. Because I do work as hard as I possibly can, you know? So my day job eats up about 60 hours a week. And so with that being said, all of my spare time is on the channel. And so, yeah, before takes, in between takes, before bed, before I wake up, I'm crocheting, you know? So I do what I can. And that's just all that's going to be. All right, so next we are going to do the bean stitch, and that's going to be done in purple. 3 rounds of the bean. And just to get that effect, I'm going to have to flip the project around each round. So that's going to be interesting and nice. Let me get this purple on very quickly. Okay, okay. Let me cut the blue off. So just out of curiosity, if you're still sitting here watching me, enjoying our company together and all the things, what are you guys working on? You know, what is on your hook? Do you have anything on the hook? Are you just sitting here watching me make this? Or do you have me on as background noise? I'm so curious. Some people tell me all of the things, you know, like they'll have me playing while they do dishes. There's people who actually start working on their whips while I'm doing mine. There's people who stop everything they're doing and they just watch me. So I'm really curious. So good. I love that coffee. Okay, the bean stitch. Let me chain 2. Doesn't count as a stitch. And let's do this bean stitch. Chain 1 to lock. Chain 1 and skip. Love this. This is nice doing the bean stitch in every other stitch. But see, I'm so used to yarning over, and with the bean stitch you don't yarn over. You literally just go into the stitch and you draw loops 3 times until you have 6 loops on your hook. See, I just did it again. It's a bad habit because it reminds me of the puff stitch. It's like a cousin to the puff, you know, but you shouldn't be yarning over for the bean stitch. I mean, you can if you want. You can do whatever you want. You know, it's your beanie. But the bean stitch is 6 loops with no yarn over in the beginning. So, and then, you know, you chain 1 to lock the loops in, and then chain 1 and skip 1. And before you know it, you're already through your round. For me, I have a tendency of not pulling the yarn back enough to allow the space for the stitch to actually work itself through. Like my loops will be so tight that I can't get my hook through. And that's not how it should be, but that's because I'm always in a hurry. I'm like the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. You know, I'm late. Oh, just did it again with the loop over. I thought about choosing the puff when we did the stitches yesterday, but Jan had chosen the popcorn stitch. And I said, well, if she's got the popcorn stitch and then we get the puff, that's a lot going on. But if we did the bean is small enough that it doesn't really protrude or stick out that far. Actually, the bean stitch doesn't even stick out as far as the front post, but it's very visible and it's textured and it's there. It is a bit of a yarn eater though, because you are yarning over 3 times for 6 loops on the hook, but that's okay. It's only for 3 rounds, and there is no repeat of this, so this is the only time that we are doing the bean stitch, which is nice. So it's going to eat yarn temporarily, and then, yeah, we'll move on to other stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let me just pause us for the data. I'll be right back. Okay friends, so I am back, and I have 30 beans. Perfect. 30 beans and 30 chain spaces. So now I link to the first bean, slip stitch. I'll just chain 1. Yeah, I'll just chain 1. And then we're going to just go into the triangles. Oh, this is going to be so good. 1, 2, 3. It is a little spacey, but I feel like it'll come together. 2 and 3. I know what I just said about coming together. One can be hopeful. Let's see. I'll show you guys what this looks like in just a second. Yeah. Not bad. So, yeah. I just realized by looking at the camera that we are 44 minutes in as of right now. I love that. Oops, I did this wrong. So, This might be a little bit of a long one. That's okay. I don't want to cut this one off right at 45 minutes. So we may just go for the full hour. And you know, for me, like, so someone asked me recently, Juan, why do you keep yourself to like an hour? I'm just considerate of people's time, you know? Like, could I do 2-hour videos and things? Yes, absolutely. But what's the likelihood of people wanting to sit and watch for 2 hours? You know? It's just too much. I'd rather have someone sit for 45 minutes and watch this one and then come back later and watch another one that's 45 minutes, you know? It is nice to have some long videos, though, I'm not going to lie, because like when I work on my whips, I look for those long podcasts, the ones that are like over an hour long. And yeah, I really enjoy listening and working on my whips with them, just because I know that like I can just get lost in their conversation and I can just do my thing while they just gab at the gums. I love that. You know, and in the crochet community, there are plenty of people who do it as well. But honestly, I love listening to the knitters, the knitting podcasts. It's all the things. Like, they are so intricate with like their, you know, yarn talk and things. I laugh because they talk about how they feel about like the fiber choice, and you know, it's more than just the stitches, it's more than just the yarn choice. It's all about like how they feel and how it makes them like transcend into like other places with, you know, this and that. And yeah. It's so good, you know. You have so many different types of podcasters out there. So I like, you know, listening to them all. As long as they're like an hour minimum, I'm good. I don't even have to watch. Like, I will just press play, turn the volume up, and sit my phone or whatever you know, the phone most times, or the iPad. I'll sit it on the table. As long as I can hear it, I'll just get lost in my work and just listen to them as if they're sitting right in the room, you know? So for me, an hour is kind of like the benchmark. If I go over an hour, it's literally because I'm doing something. So I think there was one video where I did an hour and 15 minutes. And for me, that's long, you know? But I felt that it was necessary because I guess of like, you know, what it is that I was talking about. It's fine. I'm happy with it, nonetheless. But in most cases, 45 minutes to an hour is my sweet spot. I just don't want to take up too much of people's time. And yes, I know there's a pause button, because I know people will say that. You can pause it and come back, I know. But I like the idea of having someone sit here for the entire time I'm talking and not turn me off, you know, unless they have to, obviously. I'm already at row 2. Wow. Let me just count my beans to make sure. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Great. Okay. Before I forget, I have to save the data, friends. I'll be right back. Okay. So during that break, I actually sat here and did the entire third round of the bean stitch. So I just have one more bean to go, which I believe is right there. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Okay, perfect. So next we have a half double crochet, which is, whose stitch is that? That's Jan's. So I am going to not slip. I'm going to cut and bring the color in and slip and then tie. Do 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 do. So good. have such a long tail. Okay, let me trim this tail, it's too long. Okay. Alright, what was it again? Half double crochet after the bean? Yes. So, it's coming along, right? Lots of fun textures and things. It's very nice. I can't wait for you guys to see what this looks like. I think this is going to be a very, very nice project here. Very nice. So I am going to do 2 half doubles in between the beans. There we go. That's going to be the things. Because trying to go in between the front loop, trying to go in the front loop and back loop it's just going to be too much of a headache. So yeah, that's fine. Anyway, this is a no-brainer round. I love this for us. So yeah, I think this particular session, what I'm going to do is run for the full hour, and then after the hour is up, I'm going to pause us, and then I'm going to finish the beanie off camera, and then at the very end bring the completed finished object and show you guys what the last frontier beanie looks like, which I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be all the things. It has tons of great texture and stitches, and it's fun. Now this bean stitch, I will tell you, I thought it was going to like bring it in, but it's actually going to be this half double crochet that brings it in, because it's a stabilizing stitch. So yeah, it's going to pretty much cement what needs to be cemented. What is after the half double crochet? The triad stitch. Okay. That's going to be an orange round. I love that for us. So this is 30 sets of twins. Now twins, my friends, isn't tied directly to any one particular type of stitch. Any stitch where you have 2 stitches into one space is a twin. So when I say twins in a stitch, okay, well, which twin? Is it the half double? Is it the double crochet? You know, is it 2 popcorns in the same stitch? Which I hope that's not the case, because that's a lot of loops going into one stitch. But you never know. As I always say, and as everyone always says, the possibilities are endless. You can literally do whatever you want, because it's your hook, your yarn, your choice. Love that. Okay, so I just need to verify. I need to verify my twins. I got to stay on count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So I have one more set of twins, which is right there. Perfect. So 1 and 2. Perfect. And then the triad stitch. So I'm going to go into the stitch, picking up the front loop and the back loop. Perfect. And now I'm going to bring the orange over. I wonder what this is going to look like in one color. Like when we do the tutorial, how interesting will that be when we run everything with one color, where all you're seeing is all of the texture. I think that's great. I can't wait for that, honestly. Okay. So the triad stitch. Let me chain 2. Does not count as a stitch. That's actually really nice. Okay. We're going to start in the stitch we just came out of. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Bring it all together. Chain 1 to lock, chain 1 to move on, and continue on. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Bring it all together. Chain 1 to lock, chain 1 to move on. Interesting. Okay. Love that for us. 2 and 3. Bring it all together. Chain 1 to lock, chain 1 to move on. See, even I have to talk myself through this. You know? Just so that I don't miss anything. As long as I don't answer myself, right? And that's what we're looking like here. Very nice. I love that. And fortunately for us, it's only one round, right? Do we have the triad anywhere else? No. So it's right here in the middle part of the beanie, which is perfect. It's great. So there's the triad. Love that. I secretly, well, not secretly, but I actually really enjoy the neon colors. I really do. I don't see a use for them in everyday life, but for me anyway. But I really enjoy crocheting with them. It really captures my interest. I really enjoy it. 1, 2, and 3. Bring it together. Chain 1 to lock, chain 1 to move on. Yeah, this is nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18. Yes. Yep. Perfect. Because what we're going to do after the triad, we're going to do double crochets. And we're going to do twins in between the triads. Yeah, that's going to come together nicely. So I don't have to worry about working into the chain, which is great as well. So, love that for us. Okay. So, I believe we are going to come somewhat close to an end here. So before I do, I have to tell you all of the things. I don't like waiting until the last moment to do it. So, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions for me that you would like me to answer for the next episode of WIPn It with Juan, please sound off in the comments. And so yeah, there's that. And the notifications. Don't forget to press that so you know when I am posting and doing all the things. This is super nice. I love the texture of that. Look at that. Isn't that great? That's so good. Okay, anyway, what I'm going to do is I am going to pause us. I'm going to finish this beanie, and then I will be back to finish up the video, okay? So I shall see you in just a second. For me, it's going to be longer than a second, but I'll be right back. Okay, friends, so I am back. It was a lot longer than just a few seconds, but I have a finished object to show you. And so this, my friends, is the Last Frontier beanie. And so this is what we're looking like here. Very nice, very textured. Super nice. Now, let's go ahead and put this on. Look at that. Are you kidding me right now? This looks so good. Look at that. It's perfect. We have a little bit of Lala in there, a little bit of Jan, and a little bit of Juan. So there you have it. And it didn't take up much yarn at all. I still have a whole bunch of yarn left. Amazing. Anyway, friends, it's been an awesome hour hanging out with you guys, just doing all the things, talking about, I think in the beginning I talked about autism. So this t-shirt, it says, the world needs all kinds of minds, and this is from Autism Speaks. So look them up if you're interested. I'm all about that. So yes, it's near and dear to my heart. We talked about this, we talked about that. And so yeah, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, you know, subscribe, you know, the notifications, all the things. Anyway, friends, that is it for now. And until the next one, take care. Bye.